Welcome. You are listening to a Rolemaster Classic actual play using fantasy grounds. The group has been playing together for almost a year in Terry K Amthor's excellent Shadow World. You can find session summaries, items and characters on Obsidian Portal, where our campaign is called The Praise of Old Men. In brief summary, the party spent most of their time in the bustling Venice-like Selkai underneath the floating city of Eidolon, where they've just thwarted a plan by demon-worshipping cultists to drop that upon the masses below. Listening in on a meeting between two cultist factions has revealed their plan to retrieve an ancient scrying device to find the whereabouts of a powerful artifact, the Heart of a Goth. Unfortunately, it resides on the demon-infested Isle of Aranmor. Intending to outwit them again, the party have hired a flying ship that will arrive before them with time to spare. There just remains the small matter of buying supplies for the trip.
Right, folks, all you need to do is to get your supplies sorted and decide what you want to do with the Lythander in terms of what you're taking. So once you leave Selkai, what you've got is what you've got. Is your journey to Aranmor, as I put on the Obsidian Portal, is about 3 days. You'll be flying over open ocean and then flying over the boiling sea. And it's the boiling sea and the sea serpents which have kept, well, in part, have kept Aranmor isolated for so long. So your plan is to take an airship there, the Lythander, which has a skeleton crew of 4, including the captain. So you can sort out your own berths on the second deck. You just then need to decide whether you want the ship to drop you off or whether you want the ship to wait.
So Stuart, first off, the players, we should probably divide and conquer this. The brain, in fact, would be perfect for this to estimate total time of things. Someone to get certain other types of supplies and focus on that. But the key things are not running out of food and water, probably not running out of healing devices. If sounds like it's going to be very dangerous. Stuart, just a question to you: do we know what the climate's like there? Is it sticky jungle? Is it arid, frozen?
Hot, sticky. There's swamp, thick sort of mangrove swamp, heavy rainforest. Though it's small, it's still quite heavy, dense. The city of Aranmor itself probably open, so that might give you some relief from the oppressive heat. There is some rumoured to be some extinct volcanoes on the island as well. Hence, the island and the sea around it is so hot.
Okay.
So there's clearly a lot of, or in the past, there's been a lot of thermal activity in the area. Given that the sea is still so hot, hence its name, the boiling sea, there are obviously still active thermal vents. As far as you're aware, the volcanoes on Aranmor haven't erupted in hundreds of years.
That's handy. So I guess, how are we going to best estimate the total time we're likely to take for the exploration? The there and back should be relatively easy to identify. But
there and back is a week.
Yeah, so it is how are we going to estimate the time we're on the island? That's the uncertainty, isn't it?
If you
Double up
guys
on the usual 2 weeks rations.
Yeah, if you look at if you go to Discord and go to the resources channel, you'll see a popped up a text file there called herbs.txt, beginning of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you open up that text file, the very bottom one is Cran, like the dwarven stuff. That's that's 13 gold pieces, so it is pricey, but it is 50 days food and keeps for 7 weeks. And to me, that sounds like a good insurance policy if things go tits up.
Great idea. Yeah, so if we get that as a backup for normal rations, probably normal water. Do you guys have, or any of the magic users have, any capability of purifying water in case we run out or can't drink anything on the island or anything?
I can freeze it and burn it.
You can boil it, which would definitely help. So okay.
Yeah.
All right, that should probably do us. What should we plan for? There's a week in on the planet is 10 days, isn't it? So 20 days worth of food times the number of us with a little buffer, maybe make it 25, and then get enough very, very stable food like Cran for the rest of the. Oh, it's Cram, not Cran. I wouldn't advise you eating Cran.
Well, things get tough.
for the rest of it. So that's the basics. The rest is, I guess, try to factor in multiple eventualities for equipment we might need.
Yeah, I'm stocking up on Derek.
So Stuart,
that,
are we like?
Oh, sorry. I said I was going to stock up on arrows, make sure that we've got, like, basically I'll roll a bedroll full of arrows. So I've got, like...
The city that you're eventually going to explore, was, compared to Selkai, it's not nearly as big. So at its height, Terek-Nev was only, probably about an eighth of the size of Selkai. But of course, it's been abandoned and possibly overgrown. You don't know. You've got no reliable map, of course. It's been abandoned for over 1,000 years. Now, the island of Aranmor itself, is pretty small. I think I can probably share you that.
And to answer your question, Cran, we've got Lysa. She can purify water for us.
Great, remember.
How long can the Lythander stay on station? So, we're on the island doing what we're doing, and is it just hovering there waiting for us?
No, it will find an open area to land.
Presumably its crew will need provisions.
Yep. So the Lythander, as a default, will load up with 2 weeks' worth of provisions for crew, for you, and water. But it's not intending to basically then have you take the supplies off. Basically, those supplies, 2 weeks worth, are to get you there and back in the air, and also to allow a week just in case something unforeseen happens. So there's enough fresh water and supplies on the ship for 2 weeks for all of you.
Are we completely in control of the Lythander, or is it just being given to us within certain parameters?
I suppose the latter is probably nearer the truth. So it's been loaned to you, given to you, to take you to Aranmor. It's for you to negotiate with the captain and for you to decide whether you want the vessel to return to Selkai to pick you up at a later date, or whether you want it to land and wait on Aranmor for you to finish. Obviously, the dangers are that if the ship returns, if anything happens to the ship, you're stranded. There's no way off Aranmor unless you build a boat. On the other hand, if the ship lands and is then attacked by various hostile forces, creatures, and so on. Remember, the island has been abandoned for close on 2,000 years, so if not longer. So you've no idea what's actually living on the island, apart from the rumours of demons, ghosts, and so on.
So our ability, basically, we should plan on our ability to actually get back to the ship to be fairly limited on a regular basis to restock stuff that we're carrying, or it might well be risky.
It all depends on where you want the ship to land. I mean, you might find somewhere that is convenient to land, that is safe.
My assumption would be right at the top of a volcano, assuming they are bubbling lava coming down the sides, and then fly off and then come back. We could almost have regular rendezvous every 24 hours or 48 hours or something like that, or 3 days to restock. It would involve hiking up to the top of a very large volcano on a regular basis, but that might help us with that. Does any of the majors have any ability to communicate long distances to kind of almost like two-way radio?
I don't have that ability, unfortunately. We could purchase a scroll with that.
Might be worth. What do you think, guys?
Looking at that map, I'm just thinking there's going to be a volcanic eruption.
It's just asking for trouble, isn't it?
That volcano in the north looks suspiciously red. The crater.
Magma.
Yeah.
Now, please tell me we've got Rincewind's luggage on legs with us as the other character I can see.
No.
Yeah, I've just I'm basically set up another character called Storage Chest. I'm going to just drag whatever we need into that, so that we can then just open that and drag it to other individuals if they want to take stuff out. Rather than doing it all individually, because we'll probably end up with 400 arrows and no food if we do that. Okay, currently I've got 100 arrows.
Right, so we were going to
Yeah,
sell
same.
all that gear we had. How successful were we, or do we need to RP that?
No, to save time. So that's the stuff that you've got in the kitty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, the silver candlesticks you can get for. So if I start going through and replacing the money, so the silver candlesticks you can get rid of. The locked, trapped box covered in smutty engravings. Something for the weekend, sir. Somebody will take that for 5 silver pieces. The uncut rubies, if you sell them as uncut, you'll get 15 gold pieces for them, but at least you'll get rid of them.
Get them cut, boys.
There's a really fine long kynak, which you can get rid of for that. Get rid of those.
Well, since I've got the longsword now, I can always sell off the +10 like short sword that I have as well, because it's just a nice as opposed to magical.
High steel.
Okay, makes sense.
So, how much would I get?
Well, and sorry, I pat Cherry's arm and I say, Cherry, you know, one of the things that Cran does is he has a whole throne of daggers, knives, and swords on him, and it might behoove you to keep the same amount of extras on you. Not as many, maybe, but at least one extra, because things happen in combat and you lose a weapon, you'll be hard pressed to find another one.
So yeah, I mean, if you picture the scene of it in a really large.
But look how good this sword is.
No, I understand. I mean, if you want a few extra coins, fine. But I think in combat, you'll want it back. Up to you.
Cran's weapon supply is like the knife stock in a very large professional kitchen, so it's absolutely enormous. You will never run out of weapons.
Okay, I'll keep it just in case.
You can never have too many knives.
I say the same thing about arrow.
Do we want hammocks?
Okay. There you go. I've just cleaned out the kitty for you. So you've got 3,175 silver coins and 800 gold coins. But that still leaves you with some bits and pieces which I thought you might want to keep. Remember, you've got that small ring with surface thoughts. Now, I thought that had been given to somebody.
Yeah, I'm carrying that one still.
Right,
I'm wearing it.
So I'm going to delete that. And then you've got some miscellaneous bits. You've got these things that you've registered as still in the crypt. Obviously, you were quite interested in these at some point, the elegant occasional tables. I bet as level 7 characters, these are no longer quite as appealing. You've got some miscellaneous keys, and I've left you the strips, which are equivalent to 2 broadsword blades, because I thought at some point you might want to maybe craft with those, so I've left you those. But otherwise, I've basically cleaned your kitty up for you. So you've got 3,175 silver, 800 gold coins to equip your expedition.
Jesus, we could retire, mate.
Yeah.
We could retire. Let's just clear out the island, take over, and retire.
I don't know, you've got to think long term. But what about your pension?
That's right.
True.
Old age, your
Then there's your insurance, death duties.
Oh no.
grasshoppers don't need to worry about the future.
So you've got plenty of money to equip yourselves, and just make sure you've got arrows if you're going to use them, and make sure you've got the herbs.
And don't forget television tax. Oh my god.
Guys, I'm down to quiver on the accessory price list at the moment. So I'm getting there. I'm assuming basically money is really no object for the basic stuff like this. So I'm not buying herbs. All of this is probably only going to cost like 15 gold pieces in that total. So
and if you look
I'd buy it.
If you look at the
I'm
herbs
buying
list,
a second sling bullet pouch.
there's some very pricey stuff on there. So we just keep it to the basics because like 180 gold pieces that stops bleeding. Well, we've got Uncerky, it's just that Hugburton stops the bleeding like that, so you can get up and start fighting again. Whereas the other Uncerky is a normal kind of wait for it to clot and all that kind of idea.
I don't know. Have you got the money to start investing in life keeping and life giving?
Well, that's another thing. There's 200 and 200 there, so that's 400 for life giving. Dies a day later.
Yeah,
and then,
I've got one life preservation. And that cost me 35. So Pathura's life preservation, which is life keeping for an hour. You might look at how much life giving ones are.
Yeah, life giving. The best one I saw was that Nor Yoiles Lose, because it's life giving. It's quite cheap. Cause it's only 200 gold pieces because you die one day later. But all you have to do is take a 1 silver piece sorrel nut to stop that happening. So it's quite a bit of a bargain.
Yeah. So are you taking charge of the purchasing and storage of all the herbs then?
I would do, but what I'm going to do is I'll wait for us to get all the gear first, and then we'll have an idea of what money we'll have left over. Because as you can see there, guys, that if you wanted to buy all of that, we don't have enough for. Well, you have enough, but there'd be nothing left. So it's best to get everything else first.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the basic standard accessory price list, there's very little on here that's out of the bronze piece range. I mean, you're talking like 3 or 4 silver pieces maximum. We've got what, 3,000? So I'm probably, unfortunately, it adds up all of the load. It doesn't add up all of the cost. So, Stuart, can you do us like a bulk price so I don't have to calculate this individually?
Just for your crude kit.
Well, I'll go through it in a minute.
Stuff.
Or you can have a look at the equipment in the storage chest. Unfortunately, I don't think other players can look at that. You should be able to.
I will take it out of your kitty now. Let me have a quick look.
So basically, I bought a lot of rope, a lot of oil, some things like grappling hooks, climbers kits, some tarps, a few tents.
Some tarts.
TARP for Peter.
Tarps. I was going to say,
we have.
I was going to say we've got silk. Excuse me. Speak for yourself, young lady.
Oh, great.
We have silk for tarts.
Yeah. So with the kit that you've got there, John. Cran's gone shopping. So arrows, 2 lengths of chain, some chalk, chisel, climbing packs, frame packs, grappling hooks, ladders, lots of oil, paddocks, pegs, quivers, ropes of the superior sort, enough sack to make a sail, scabbards, lots of tarp, tents, tinderbox. Good heavens, we're off to cross the Andes by frog.
Has Cran been carrying this around with him the whole time?
It's only 100. I'm only up to £255 of equipment so far.
Basically, this is his shopping expedition. He comes back to the ship with a whole stream of street urchins staggering under the load of kit. It looks like somebody who's about to go and ford a river in Africa, pursued by a load of native bearers as he crosses up the gangplank onto his ship, followed by this long chain of street urchins carrying tents, tarps, scabbards, and so on.
Believe me, guys, we're not going to go without the equipment we need for this venture thing. Whatever.
At which point somebody says, "Rope! I know I'd need rope."
I'll tell you what, we also need 4 candles.
4 candles.
One of the best comedy scenes in history.
You've got 2,575 silver coins, 800 gold coins left to spend on any other kit you wish.
Right, so my next question is to you, Cran, or whoever is going to be buffed up. How dangerous do you want to do it? Because you've got something like Kathkusa, which is 50 gold piece for 1 shot, but gives you 2 times strength for 1 to 10 rounds, double damage, 10 to OB, but unfortunately the addictive factor is 35 on that.
What does twice strength mean for somebody who's got 101 strength? Is it twice strength modifiers?
We made the modifiers, yeah.
Okay. Holy mackerel, that's impressive.
Because like you could
Cran
do,
doesn't really.
well, we could do,
In
you could
character,
do.
Cran doesn't really understand addiction or what even it really means. So
I mean, if you wanted to be like, if you really wanted to, you had like a big baddie or something like that, you could hit them with a Zolsel Zendra. That's the haste for 3 rounds. But just before you do that, you munch a Kathkuza and you walk in with double strength, double damage, plus 10 OB, plus whatever the strength bonus is there, and haste for 3 rounds.
holy mackerel, that would be slaying material.
Well, you probably get what, 6 hits in.
Yeah, especially you can get 2 attacks in, or if you get the jump on them or defend in the first round and they go gangbusters in the second. Yeah.
Only problem is that that little thing will cost you 120 gold pieces, and you roll for addiction factor 35 followed by addiction factor 22.
Yeah, you've got to assume don't do that very often then, or become. That's a very expensive addiction, isn't it?
Oh yeah. That's when
Right.
we'd have to watch our own gear. Make sure you haven't stolen it. Sell often.
But I was thinking a bit more down to earth is something like 30 draft. There are 7 silver pieces each. 5 Arkasu. Draft is 1 to 10 concussion hits back over 2 rounds, so 2 to 20. And then Arkasu
It's good, yeah.
is 2 to 12 hits and doubles the heal rate for things. You get 5 of those just in case. That's a bit more expensive, but they're not horribly expensive, and they probably come in handy.
Cool.
Then you got the other
Yeah,
stuff
they
like
sound good.
you got Vinnick.
And then bleeding. Stop bleeding herbs.
Well, actually, I bought 5 Ansurki anyway from the party
cool.
herb fund. So
Okay.
we've got that. It's not, it's the stuff that if you move again it opens back up again. So it's more for
Right.
that's the end of the fight for you, pal. Just go to one side and rest up for a few hours.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we have the presumption that basically the island is going to be really dangerous, and we might not actually find really a good safe haven to rest up for 24 hours.
Now, hang on, Cran. You saying that, does that mean we won't rush headlong into battle?
No, I don't like fighting. Sometimes it's necessary.
Well, I agree. I don't disagree, but I worry for Ugnan's health. He didn't look so good last.
Yeah, I've got to keep him on his toes. You've got to test his skills out occasionally, otherwise he gets stale.
I think Ugnan will be muttering at this point.
I'm waiting for the day where he can heal traumatic head injuries that have lasted for like 20 years.
I've looked at that. I think it's 12th level.
I've seen flesh golems in better shape than Ugnan.
What about stun relief? Because that's reasonably useful. Vinnick is stun relief for 1 to 10 rounds, but they have to be brewed up ahead time. But a brew, I think, lasts a couple of weeks. So or if even it's a week, that'd be enough for the island. And there's Well Wow.
So you basically use it like a potion, yeah.
There's Well Wow, which is ingest. Serenade, which is ingest.
And to the point earlier, to the point earlier about scrolls, is it worth looking for specific things that we can't get through healing or our own resources? That, for example, long distance communication gets spells for that.
Mm-hmm. And at least one. I don't know if Ugnan, if you have purifications, it's like anti-disease,
Yeah, I've got that one.
Cool. Okay, never mind. You're good. You're a good healer. Yeah, and then creations was the other thing for food that I was going to mention was you can literally magic into effect food. So, but you've got the dwarven way bread, so that's the.
I quite like the idea of Takuma, Tukema, so Tukema, or however you pronounce it. It's 100% addiction.
Wow.
Euphoric that allows shared dreams. Like that would be splendid.
Yeah. What's the cost on it? Just because if you're addicted, you got to buy that every week.
38 silver. That's not cheap.
Oh, that's not too bad. It's not like life giving.
With up to 50 miles. It's not quite kind of communication.
So what do you reckon on 30 draft? That's 210 silver pieces for 30 of them, and then all that stun release stuff, which is 116 gold pieces.
Wow,
sounds smart.
Spend it while we have it.
It's 10 Vinnick, 7 Well, 10 Serenade, and the Well and Serenade are nice berries, so they're not too bad. And the Vinnick is, I just thought, those times Cran got stunned for those 12 rounds. That's where you want Vinnick to kick in.
Yeah.
And you guys don't laugh, but I've got some Delrian. It's for repelling insects. It smells gross, but it works.
Great
Especially
idea.
for the ones that attach to your back and suck your bowels out of your body. Oh, you haven't heard about those ones?
I grew up bloody freezing. Nothing lived through about end of the year till early spring, so probably very clean.
Mm.
What about kind of that? I was really worried about, well, me and you the last big fight we got into, and I got a bad crack around the head early on, and couldn't really do anything for a couple of minutes, and luckily you all managed to get me back, and I managed to help again. But is there anything that can help protect me so I can just stand in the middle and try and take as much flak from anything bad as possible? Not sure if there's
Train you in magic and become a cleric.
Would that do it? He's looking skeptically at you. The eyebrows
That's right.
raised.
Well, I can cast blur on you, which makes you a bit blurry, and at the same time cast a bright aura on you, which makes you hard even to be looked at. So that would pump up your defenses. But it's not, it's not a magic. It's probably about it's those two together would be probably just as effective as a shield.
Yeah.
So basically,
that's good because I can't really use a shield.
You get 10. You'd get 10 for the blur, and for the higher strength aura, you'd get 15. So they're 25, but they're always on, no matter whether they're behind you or not.
That's pretty helpful.
And they're also 10-minute per level, so they're like nice 70-minute spells.
Oh wow, okay. Well, that would be helpful. I just wondered, is there any, I guess, I don't know, specific armor we could buy? Is there anything we could get cast on our own equipment before we leave that is permanent, like a magic effect? I've got some really nice armor now, I have to admit, which will be really good. Or things to help see in the dark, for example, or whatever. There
are probably herbs that will help you see in the dark and give you night sight. There are also some spells as well. I don't know if any of you have those.
There's also a lantern I hold up.
There is that, yes.
And Cran looks a bit sheepish because his atheist tendencies may come out soon, but he looks around and go, well, any of the god botherers around here that can maybe give us some, I don't know, amulets or something. We're pretty certain there's going to be like undeads and devils and demons and stuff on this place. So anything that may be able to protect us from those kind of things. I think.
Don't know. Ugrin wouldn't know enough about that, probably.
I don't think you've got any channeling users, have you?
No, Ugrin's channeling, so he's getting his power from somebody. I just don't think he knows who.
He never researched that.
I never asked.
Yeah, well, from his point of view, he was weirdly the only survivor from a plague. Doesn't quite know how he survived, and from that point onwards, he's had this kind of weird, been able to take healing upon himself. So he's no idea where it's come from. He's probably, he's happy but also cursed because he doesn't know anybody that he ever grew up with. How about this for stun relief? So buying all that, I mean, am I overstocking here? Because I already had 10 Vinnic, and that would be 20 Vinnic, which is the stun relief for 1 to 10 rounds.
Now remember, you got through. So the last battle when.
Oh no, this is since then because I restocked with the 102 gold piece.
So you went through a lot of stun relief in the last battle. So
in that last battle, we had none left.
Yeah.
Right.
So basically, that's why I bought it all again. But I'm just thinking, do we really need 20 Vinnic, or should I just leave that? We've got 20 Cyrene. No, not 20 Cyrene.
I'd definitely rather have too many than too few. So.
And 10 well. Well, I mean, that's
Yeah, and let's spend it. It's only money.
And just remind me, it's 10 silvers to a gold, right?
Yeah.
I really hope you've got a spreadsheet open now. So.
What you do?
I want to see a nice double entry accounting going on here, Steve.
Well, okay, so to buy all the stun relief, and then to buy the 30 draft, that's 137 gold pieces.
Do you want me to subtract that from the kitty then that you've got?
Am I allowed to change it? Oh, that's fine. But yeah, 137. So what's that? That's 663.
Okay. Okay, you've
Six.
still got
6-6.
a ton. So you've still got over 600 gold coins and 2,500 silver.
Buy their herb shop.
Holy water.
Keep going. Holy water. That is a fine idea.
That is smart, yeah.
Well, I'm thinking,
Vials of holy water.
what specifically helps against demons?
Holy oil, magic weapon.
Yeah, actually, holy oil that we put on our, poison on our weapon. Smart.
Ooh. I was looking up holy water Rolemaster, and there was a WikiHow website on how to make your own holy water. How you can go for real. Who knew?
Nice. Yeah. Eric the Viking. I simply immerse you in water. I'm off.
So, don't know if that's given you as a cost in Rolemaster, but if you want holy oil, it's probably going to cost you something like a silver piece per vial.
How much for a very large bathtub?
How much for a holy
with a
water
lid,
armor?
a barrel of holy water?
Yeah.
So 1 silver piece for a vial of oil. So, and you can probably get about a dozen.
And can we try a blacksmith to see if they could retrofit a small bellows with a nozzle attachment, a fluid reservoir, and then a super soaker that then used to spray things in front of us?
Super soaker with holy
You
water.
can give that design in, but it's going to take them a couple of weeks to make it for you.
Okay.
And remember,
So it should be ready by the time we get back.
Yeah, so remember, the mission that you're racing against, or the plotters that you're racing against, Landmasses' ship, they want to be at Aranmor in about 2 weeks' time. So it's going to take them about a week to get their ship together. I said ship, S-H-I-P, and then it'll take them about a week to then sail across. So you've got, assuming you go fairly soon, you'll get something like a 9 to 11 day head start on.
I've just put something in the resources chat.
Ambush. Stuart, is their ship on the sea, or is it also a flying ship as well?
No, theirs is a sailing ship.
Yep.
And that's what gives you the head start. So the journey to Aranmor by sailing ship is about a week, give or take.
Are we concerned that our departure might be spotted by them?
No.
We don't care
sailing
about that.
Airships will leave from Eidolon pretty much every couple of hours. You're just one slightly smaller vessel heading towards a well-known trading destination. So you're fairly confident, given that they don't know what you look like, really. As long as you're fairly surreptitious about this, they've probably got no idea.
Is there any possibility of getting a guide to Aranmor, or is it's been deserted, as you say, Stuart, for many centuries?
It's been deserted. The only chance you'll find of anybody living on the island, human that is, would be shipwrecked sailors. Nobody, as far as you know, has ever been to Aranmor and returned. Either they've gone there and been killed, or they've gone there and not been able to get off. Crossing the boiling sea is very, very difficult.
So a few of us doing a pub crawl tonight to try and see if we can find any sailors in the bars who might have been there is probably.
It's unlikely to get any. It's unlikely to find anybody. And if anything, that could tip off Landmasses, if he hears about it, that there's a rival mission.
Man, I'd almost say let's pay someone, give them a bunch of gold that we trust, and get them to start hiring every sailor there is in town while we leave, and have them literally do nothing.
Our enemies already have their...
Yeah, remember, unfortunately, Silk, your rivals already have access to a pirate vessel.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to be using a conventional, no normal sailor, no conventional merchant shipman or merchant seaman, is going to take his vessel to Aranmor. So you're looking at smugglers, pirates, or the desperate. And if you'll recall, they're going to use Delta Arvergan connections to the pilots to get a vessel. So the ship that they're going to be using is going to be quite sleek and fast, and will have a crew complement that will be quite comfortable swinging a cutlass and saber.
Terry, you've got contacts with your previous guild, gang, but guild, I say to you. Would it be possible for them to maybe delay, stick a wrench in the works, as it were?
Cherry, give me an intelligence roll.
Okay. Don't laugh. Intelligence. That's actually reasoning, yeah?
Yep.
Nice color, though.
Thank you. It's about to change.
Really not very sure. If you remember, her gang are really just a street gang. Whilst they're active around the docks, they're active all over Selkai, but they're children. So she can't really see that there's going to be too much they can do. It's not as if they control access to any buildings, access to the docks. They don't have the resources to damage ships or anything like that. She doesn't think there's anything they can do, unfortunately. Gargoyles are very much a children's group.
They could scout for us, but do minor pilfering, but nothing.
Yeah. Cran.
Sorry, interrupted. I'm not sure. Would you allow equipment from I've got a RPG sourcebook for my school and a 10-foot pole, which has got a huge amount more equipment. I'm assuming it's roughly Middle Ages setting we're in.
Yeah.
Just looking through that chapter at the moment.
Slightly more advanced than that, to be honest, because there is access to gunpowder elsewhere on
okay.
Here. But yeah.
Well, I was just thinking for things like block and tackle.
Yes, that's fine.
That kind of stuff I could add. All right, I'll.
Yep, you can get those street urchins to carry on filling the vessel till Captain Oleander takes one look at the sagging decks and says, "No more, no more."
Are we going to need
Crystal? Can I take it?
Are we going to need to bring along Speckled Jim just to carry all this shit?
Well, you might
have
to.
That's not a bad
idea. So let's pick up Speckled Jim from our ship.
You cannot take Speckled Jim on an airship.
Flying.
There is the equivalent of Selkai's RSPCA.
Flying donkey.
No to taking a donkey on an airship.
Get large ship boys. Yeah, ship boys on each hoof under the shoulder blades or breastbone.
Just give him xenium coated shoes, and he can he can make his own way there.
Dude, flying donkey. That's the name of our next ship.
The Flying Donkey. No, you can't take. Sadly, Speckled Jim has enjoyed his time mooching around the docks, wondering where all that brandy went.
We'll find him again.
Oh, the brandy is still flowing. We set up that other group.
You did.
Our other ship to. Yeah, so he gets a hit, a tipple of brandy every now and then. Oh, well, I like to think he does.
Right, so I'm just looking at the poor old. Yeah, you've got enough cargo space in the main hall to probably down opposite the bunk beds, hammocks, I should say, to put all of this kit that Cran is feverishly feeding into the ship.
Yeah, 4 25-gallon barrels. That might be useful. Fill up with water. 4 chests large.
Spare dining room table.
There is a light portable anvil we may find useful.
Maybe
a beehive. Do you think we'd need?
This reminds me of Burke and Wills, who took off across Australia
that's right,
with a writing desk and a bath. So, seriously, they took a writing desk and a bath with, and
absolutely
they kept
essential
for as long as they could.
All right, so at the moment, Cran, I think you've loaded the vessel with, am I right in thinking £27,000 worth of equipment?
No, it's modest £277 at the moment.
Is it? Okay.
That's only that's one Cran at the moment.
There you go. So you've got about £300 worth of equipment on the ship at the moment. That's fine.
Oh, hang on a minute. There's 100 gallons of water in barrels is about to be added, and 4 large chests and a block and tackle, or several. I don't think we need much more.
So can we also buy 5 Arcassi, because that doubles the rate of healing wounds in case it takes a while for something to heal. And if we buy 3 Cramlows, that's 150 days. Assuming there's 6 of us, we don't know who's going to join us along the way, who's not here tonight. But if we assume that's 6 of us, that's 25 days.
Yeah, assume 6. Yeah.
That's 25 days each.
What about backup ways to get off the island? So something happens to the Lythander. Can we have our surface? I believe the party owns a surface ship.
Yeah.
Could we also have that be standing by off the island? I appreciate it'll take it a while to get there, but I'm just trying to think.
Could destroy it on sending it there. So
but then how do the other guys get there? Are they running the same risk of destruction?
Yes, they are. Going by sea is a risk. So it makes sense to have a backup vessel. However, you can't anchor in the boiling sea, so you'd have to anchor off Aranmor, which would put you at danger of currents. The sea is still treacherous, and you've also got sea serpents as well. So the ship could go there, meet you and take you back, but it's not really going to be able to anchor anywhere close. In addition to which, it's got the same dangers that Landmasses' ship is going to have of actually getting there safely. But if you think it's worth the risk, you can order your vessel to make its way there just as a backup.
Well, it'd also be a matter of communicating with the ship once it's off the coast.
Yeah, you won't know.
Not sure we can handle that.
No, you won't know what's happened to it if it doesn't turn up.
Are there any other land masses near Aranmor?
Yeah, if I show you that map. So Aranmor stands off a couple of spits of land, both fairly inhospitable. Fulcrumia is, if you imagine particularly aggressive and hostile Vikings, that's what Fulcrumia is. Pirates, reavers, and so on, so not friendly sorts at all. They don't really trade with anybody. They're belligerently independent. But if you go towards the very tip of Fulcrumia, you can see there's that great big river, branching river. That land is not very well settled. It's very, very marshy and very, very hot, humid, and not very good for growing crops. So the Fulcrumians have essentially left that bit of their kingdom alone. You could, in theory, establish a base there, but it's going to be very, very difficult to survive.
So shoot down this idea. But I was thinking we would. Weight's an issue, but we would take a rowing boat with us on the Lythander, and in extremis we could use that rowing boat to get off Aranmor, just to some other bit of land.
You could take
I appreciate. But is this just being a bit OTT?
Not.
Aranmor might just get really nasty, and I'm just thinking, even if we have to go. Just go across that strait. There's also another landmass to the east. I don't know what that is, Stuart.
Again, it's inhospitable jungle because of the sea of fire and the heat. But again, if you're worried about suspicious-looking volcano, if said suspicious-looking volcano does erupt, it would certainly sort of, depending on the lava flow, you could be looking at a third to half the island being swamped with lava, let alone the debris that's kicked off. So a rowboat across the Sea of Fire to the nearby peninsula that you can see might be a sensible option.
So maybe we should just hold the decision on the rowboat for a moment. Have we decided where our base camp is going to be on this island, or where we're going to be dropped off? Is there a particular point in the island that we're actually aiming for? And sorry, I wasn't at the last session.
No.
We don't know
We
yet.
haven't.
But hopefully what we would do is we would fly all over it and have a little look-see from above first.
Reconnaissance, yeah, good idea.
Could we bring maybe 1,000 bombs and then just drop them off the side as we go over it?
Carpet bomb it, yeah.
Shock and awe. Yeah.
Right,
Okay,
sorry, John. I asked Stuart just to knock the kitty down by 100 because that's that herb for those double heal rates, and also the cran bread. So we're all fed. It'll just be the water now.
Perfect. So I've got 100 gallons of water. If everyone needs about half a gallon a day, we're going to need to top that up at the point.
Here's a proposal then for the group. I think we get a rowboat, and what I'm thinking is, as long as you can get Numal beyond the boiling sea bit, which, Stuart, am I right? Is that the churning bit of water shown in the map?
Well, it's a little bit wider than that, but yes, that's it.
And you get Numal beyond that, then his swimming skills are such that he could probably swim quite a long distance.
Wow.
Although I guess I'll ship if it's off the sea, it's still at danger of serpents and currents.
Well, we can get a 10-foot, a 20-foot, or a 30-foot longboat. Probably wouldn't fit on top of that, but a 10-foot one might. But that holds 4 people, or we can get 3 canoes. They hold 2 people each. Or a coracle, but I wouldn't recommend trying to float across the sea in one of those.
As a teacher of mine used
through
to
the boiling sea. Yeah.
Love many, trust few, always paddle your own.
That sounds like a book title.
He was an English teacher.
Right, so everybody almost got the kit that they need.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Do you want me to add some stuff to the manually to that for the barrels and stuff? I just.
Yeah, I'm not so worried about water and too worried about food. It sounds like you've got that covered, to be honest. It's not going to be an exercise in logistics. I mean, it would be in real life.
Yeah,
but,
I don't think we need to carry the barrels of water when we've got Lysa to help us clean up any.
That's fine. No, I was just thinking about a wheelbarrow for the enormous piles of gold that we're going to be bringing out of the.
Oh yes, that might be sensible, unless you want to just get some bogies to mount your rowboat on.
Right, I think we're all prepared then, chaps. What do you think?
Yeah.
So we got the rowboat?
Yep, if you want one.
Yep. Sounds like it's prudent.
Okay, so the rowboat's
£200.
So the rowboat can be stowed top. You'll notice that the Lythander has 4 small ballistae for ship-to-ship defence. With obviously a skeleton crew, but with your aid, you can still just about operate those ballistae if need be. The rowboat, actually, you can see sort of a cage-like setup at the back of the vessel. So that's where you'd stow your rowboat. And if you choose to land on Aranmor, obviously that rowboat can then be carefully lowered via ropes, block, tackle, pulley, etc. onto the island itself, so that if anything does go wrong, you've got some means of getting off the island, assuming the rowboat is okay.
Yes, I suggest that if everything else fails, we paddle across to Whistler's Island just below and start our new lives there.
Just going back to communicating with the Lysander, did we resolve that, or could we just use a sort of a real primitive way of, I don't know, a little bit of mirror or something flashing at it?
Well, what do you want the Lysander to do? Do you want to wait until you've had a recce of the island, or do you want to give the captain some instructions now as to what's going to happen?
I think the former, but I was just trying to plan for communicating with it in the event that we don't ask it to stay on the island. It's going to hold station in the air somewhere. Maybe I missed it, but did we resolve how we would communicate with it?
Don't think so.
Caca.
I think, yeah, nice. I think Silk always keeps a silver mirror on her. I'll check that out. Yeah, I've got a mirror.
Does any one of us have a skill? I don't know. Is there Morse code and Shadow World?
There is a signalling. It's a secondary development skill, I think, or a secondary skill in signalling. However, without that, you can still flash a mirror. It's just your messages would have to be fairly simple. If you were going to
so we
try
can
and
agree
send
with
any sort of
Captain.
complicated message, I'd ask you to use that skill.
The semaphore version of Wuthering Height.
Is it worth investing 70 gold pieces in a Zolzendura, one of those haste berries that we could give to Cran or whoever's in an opportune moment to get haste for 3 rounds if it gets really sticky?
Yeah, if there is one massive, it'd be basically one massive creature that we're facing, probably.
That could be handy.
To get a lot of damage in very fast against it.
So how about we buy one Zolzendura and Cran keeps it? Because it's not going to be any use to me when we get double rounds. I mean, it might be Cherry. I mean, it depends how quickly you can.
Yeah, I suppose double rounds means I could load and shoot in the same round, but it doesn't. I think
speed up spell
Cran.
casting?
I was going to say, Cran has a good suggestion there. It does speed up spell casting, especially if you're casting a spell that needs prep rounds. Because
it's just so expensive.
It's still expensive way of doing it.
Yeah,
I'd say give it to the damage dealer if so. But you're right. I mean, it would speed up spell casting, but for pure damage, Cran, there's nobody that beats Cran when which is all the time.
It is AF22 as well. That's also a risk.
Yeah, Cran gets it.
Let him go full bloody 9.
So do you mind taking it down by 70 then? And Cran put a Zolzendura if you want to drop it in, or do you want me to drop it in mine and give it to you? Actually, just put it in your...
Which table is under, yeah.
So, Enchanted Herbs.
Enchanted Herbs, got it.
Physical enhancement, probably. That's like the, when we really know we need it, then pop that berry and go mad. Especially if you've got some rage going on.
Addiction factor 22, that'll help, yeah.
We're going to need Ugnan to learn Purge Addiction.
We just might not bring Cran back with us once he's addicted to that too.
So Stuart, that's 493 GP left.
How much? Sorry.
493.
493. Okay.
It goes fast.
You've still got loads. Okay, so the captain will suggest the route that he's going to take. So if you look at what I think I've arrowed it on one of the maps, rather than going by or following the sea route, the captain is suggesting flying up the southern coast of Fulcrumia and then avoiding the worst of the winds and geysers, water spouts that can make going through the cut. You can see the gap between the two peninsulae towards Aranmor treacherous. He goes across land, across the northern tip of Fulcrumia, and heads towards Whistler's Island. So he's mapped that route out and is basically, once you're all aboard, then looks at you to say, where next? I can set down on Whistler's Island, I believe. Not that I've ever been there, but it looks like, from what I've heard, that we can rest the ship there, or I can fly you directly onto Aranmor. Where do you wish to go, gentlemen?
I reckon Aranmor would be most sensible, wouldn't it?
We should have a look. Have a fly around.
Do a fly past.
Okay,
yeah,
so the journey itself to get towards Aranmor takes you a little bit longer. It takes you 4 days.
Hang on, sorry. Have we left?
Unless you're buying more kit, yes.
Just one more thing. Sorry to be a pain in the arse. 45 gold. It's a bread. But it's basically a Kathkuza. It's the 2x strength thing. It lasts for 6 rounds. 1 slice. If we could keep that, preserve that, then that's only AF10 as well, Cran.
45 gold pieces.
45 gold, and it's a Heskaratus.
Okay.
If you want to shove it in, it's actually under enchanted breads rather than herbs.
So okay. If we've got enough cash, I mean,
you've got plenty of cash. You've still got almost 500. Well, you've got over 500 gold pieces left.
And there's 2,500 silver, so like about 750 gold. But yeah, 703 Cran in enchanted bread.
Okay, got you. 703. Yeah, thank you.
But I mean, that's if you pop that first and then take a Zol Zendura. I mean, if you don't get stunned, it's going to be quite devastating.
Holy crap. Okay, thank you.
That's
And
it.
I'm pretty good with that new axe we've got now. I get 2 attacks around with that. Sorry, he says really out of.
What do you mean 2 rounds?
I'll drink to that.
Okay, have you got all the stuff you wanted?
I think we do now, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.